Alright, hello and welcome folks to another edition of RSF Radio. I'm your host Joe Monday, and today is April 5th, 2018. You're listening to the podcast where we talk about what's been going on the front page of our Street Fighter every week. And what a week it's been! Yeah, holy shit, man. It's actually funny thinking about how the format of this podcast goes and how it's listed. And if you ever scroll down to the comments, which I hope you do, or the description, I should say, to find what we talk about, it's usually labeled threads you might have missed. And I don't think anyone missed these threads. I don't think many things that we're going to talk about this week. There might be a couple things, but like the couple three big hitters that we're going to pull out here are just balance patches. The balance patch alone. We're going to end the show on the balance patch because there's a couple things that I think are worth talking about that people haven't talked about already. And also, along with that, I want to give a big thank you to the community who has put me on Sudoku Watch for what they did to my guy, what they did to Zangief. I greatly appreciate the community reaching out and saying, hey, it's okay, life can go on, even when, the light at the end of the tunnel, the Russian light at the end of my muscle explosion tunnel, it's fading fast. It's fading fast, you guys. But we're going to get into that and maybe why. Man, I want to railroad my own conversation. I have to. I literally just had to do like a double take of like, no, Joe, no, just not right now. We'll get into Zangief in a minute. Just pump the brakes. Let's go into the first couple topics. We'll talk about some shit that happened, and it'll be okay. And we're going to go through things that way. So let's get into the first topic, because you guys, we sent Chris DCH to NCR. He placed 33rd, so he got some points, which is awesome. He beat some strong players. He beat Otani, but then he was eliminated by Otani in losers, unfortunately. But he did pretty well, and he performed pretty well. I think he wasn't used to playing on PS4s, so I think that getting that kid some extra experience will be good. And Nacer, of course, sending him to Combo Breaker is awesome. So shoutouts to Nacer for that. And I look forward to seeing Chris CCH perform at Combo Breaker here in. Trying to do the countdown of months. I'm not going to do it live on the show. That's not good listening. However, looking forward to that. But NCR happened, and the results were posted. We got the VODs here in the bracket that you can see in this thread, again posted by Incross. Shouts to Incross. He's always done a really good job of summarizing CPT, at least on our Street Fighter. He's done a really good job of that. And what I will say is a couple things about this bracket. We saw some Manats do pretty well. We saw some Abigail do pretty well. My favorite match, probably within top 8, was Verloren versus Tokido. The comeback from Tokido was impressive, I will say. His Tokido's run in top 8 was nothing short of impressive, I think. And him taking NCR was pretty exciting. And watching him get that somewhat of a run back against Daigo there in grand finals was pretty exciting, I think. A lot of people, after watching the Kimono Michi, thought, well, Daigo versus Tokido, is he in his head, or can Tokido compete? What's really going on here? But Tokido clutched it out. We got Tokido, Daigo, NuckleDo, Infiltration, Gamer B, Verloren, Storm Kubo, and Justin Wong were your top 8 in order of placement. So really good performance, a lot of good Manats. I hadn't thought that Justin had a very strong Manat, but it makes sense. it makes sense that it's actually interesting watching both Justin and Infiltration play Minot. This is kind of me shooting the shit here about this tournament, in that Minot is one of those characters where I think she actually benefits greatly from being able to switch it from being defensive to playing offense, because of the way that her orb works. It brings you closer to her. So if she hits you with that, it's pressure time, where I think Infiltration has historically been super good at that. That's been one of his best tools as a player, of being able to switch. Daigo as well, I think, is pretty good at that. But Justin is pretty well known for being hella defensive, just a fucking brick wall, hard to get in on. He'll learn you today, for those out there. And it's interesting to see that how they both approach the character and how they both play, because I think both are viable, but I would be willing to bet that the way that Infiltration plays is a little bit better. And of course, you got some buffs in the 3.5 patch, which I don't know if we'll necessarily talk about that in general, but I don't know. I think it's cool that Minot got buffs. I don't really think that she needed them. However, it's cool to see such a highly technical character and a fun character to watch become even stronger of a character. But anyway, those are your results for NCR. And here's the next topic, which is total points leaders. This was put together so far by SRK. They did some reporting here, shows who's in the lead. Tokido's out there in the lead with 1,120 points, followed by Infiltration at 860, and then Verloren at 330. Tied with Knuckledew at 330 as well, tied for third. They list out the top 18 here. It's useful. It's interesting information, I would say. It shows you the spread so far, and maybe who to look out for the remainder of the season. Because I think the players that perform strongly, I think you'll see them at the next tournament, especially those who play Cammy. I would even go as far to say that Rashid, you'll see those Rashids there up in top 8. I'm not so worried about Rashid. Or even Akuma. I think Akuma's still strong after the patch, but again, discussion for a later time. I think Infiltration is going to tear the season up. Real talk. I think that 860 is going to skyrocket the next couple months or so. So I would closely watch his Minot and see if he runs away with this season. But I don't know. It's if you like leaderboards and stuff, check out that post. Next up, and here is where things get a little sketch. Here's where things get a little shitty. From everyone else's perspective, there's a lot of people commenting on this, and I get it. The topic, of course, is at NCR, Goichi versus Menardi, and Kaba behind them, yelling like he does, and it affecting Goichi so far to have Goichi call a man out on Twitter, have a somewhat bad mistranslation, and then things got hairy from there. And I think that's where things broke down here, was that poor communication. The translation itself was not good. Goichi basically being misquoted saying that like Kaba should be out of the tournament, from the scene. I get it. And ladies and gentlemen, regardless of where you stand here, and we're gonna get into like at least our stance, because even when man, I'm gonna railroad myself again because there's so many directions to take this. Regardless of where you stand, of FGC, this is just how things are. No one should yell because these are people's jobs. Regardless of where you stand there, I'm going to give you the moderator's perspective on our Street Fighter. Stop being fucking racists, everybody. Can we stop being fucking racists? I don't think that's so hard to ask. I mean, disagree or agree with someone, insulting race or nationality or being xenophobic in any way is probably not a good way to go about it. And that's the kind of stuff, at least as a moderator, that weighs a little heavy on my heart, seeing that stuff happen within the FGC. It's so fucking strange, because we tout ourselves of being inclusive, and all that stuff is good, and if you show up at any event, there is a wide swath of people, all shapes and sizes, all varieties, all colors of the rainbow. We got them all. But fuck, man. Like, I know I sound exasperated because I can't count on two hands. It's more than two hands of comments that needed to be removed from multiple threads this weekend, not including original posts that were just flagrantly racist about Kaba and Mena's nationality. Like, go fuck yourself. Please leave. I don't want you here. I don't think anybody wants you here. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. And I get it. Like, we can get into heated arguments. We can disagree vehemently with each other. But holy shit. Like, you don't need to throw racial slurs. I don't even want to repeat them, because I don't want to give them any value of being heard through. I don't want to extend their life by repeating them on any kind of air or any kind of. I don't want to record it anywhere, because fuck that. Fuck that attitude. I don't care if you think what Kaba did was aggressive and terrible. I do not give a fuck. You can think that. That is actually a fair opinion. But, like, let's not be racist, guys. I don't think that's so hard to ask. And I feel like I have to bring that up because so much was removed that in itself is worth mentioning. We didn't make a top-level thread about it, about the flagrant racism, because it's one of those things that's over the weekend where there's a lot of people who come and visit just to drop things, like make new accounts and just say racist shit, because that's how Reddit works. We took care of it, but fuck, it sucks to see it. It's really unfortunate, and I hate it, and I hate you if you're racist, or like subscribe to racist beliefs, or regardless. Anyway, so there was that. So let's actually get into the topic of what happened. So if you didn't watch the video, Stupendous was there right behind Goichi and Mena as they played their set, and of course Kaba was there, and he was yelling like he does. This is not new. This is not a brand new thing that has happened. I mean, even when Kaba is known for being a loud spectator, specifically in the way that he yells, it can be grating to a lot of people. It can affect people how they play. In fact, he was the example that I think that if you listen to this show, if you listen to all of I can't recall what episode it was, where the new rules for the CPT were released. I think this was probably around Thanksgiving time of last year, where Rule 12 of the CPT was announced, and number one on that list is like no yelling, or like being loud or boisterous. Rule number 12, subsection I, is like no, like don't get loud. And we all looked at that, and we kind of joked about it, like that's fucking ridiculous to be evicted from like on site as a spectator if you're being loud, or telling someone to go fuck themselves, because that just happens. And it would be insane to like have someone evicted like that or thrown out of the tournament because of acting that way. But it's in the rules, and to some extent it makes sense, because I mean, Goichi was here overseas trying to compete to, like, A, win money from that tournament, and then B, be on a pro circuit to gain money at the Capcom Cup. Like, it's not crazy to want as a player, to want a level of protection to say, oh no, like I need you to back off with your yelling, which other people actually here's the other thing. People actually reported that being in pools with someone from that community, Cabo was yelling over their match as well, but they turned around and said, hey, shut the fuck up. And then a round later, they didn't hear any more of it. Which, okay, great if you're able to take that into your own hands. And also, if you can speak the language, that's the other thing. Like, Goichi's not there being like... it's one of those things. I don't think Goichi would be able to communicate well with Cabo. There's just too many layers of translation for that to really make sense between those two parties. So, is it the TO's? Is it their responsibility? Because, I mean, they've got a hard enough job as it is already. Are you really gonna say to every TO, hey, because here's the next step. Here's the next step. With Rule 12, we fucking brought this up. Where do you, as a organizer, as an event organizer, say to your TOs, your bracket runners, hey, if anyone is out there being exceptionally boisterous or aggressive with the way that they're being vocal during a match, shut it down. And you can threaten like eviction from tournament. When someone gonna give the go-ahead for that? Because by the rules, and if you think about it as someone's career, that's not fucking crazy to think of someone saying that. I get it. It's not insane. It's also in the rules, but also, you know, there's a lot of people out there who disagree with that, who say that no, just this is okay. Yelling and stuff is okay. I will say, the way the Kaba does it, and just this is just historically how he's done it, it is extremely aggressive. Yelling when kind of nothing hype is happening, to me that's not hype. That's not very exciting. I get it. He's excited for his pals, for his teammates, for his countrymen. There's a bond there. I get it. To want them to perform well and embody the person that they're playing. Okay, I can understand that. It's just not my personal flavor. It's not my personal taste. I like to see a little action before I get a little rowdy. I like a little foreplay. I want there to be a little bit of something there for me to chew on. But man, that Rule 12, man, look it up. It's in the CPT rulebook. I didn't quite link it, and it might be in the comments here I might even link it in the section here, just to point it out, to say that this is a rule. So for wherever you stand on it, side of this issue of allowing that kind of behavior versus that whole gray area in between of saying, hey, please stop, which he did. Even at this event, he did do that. He did stop if he was asked, to all the way on the other end of saying, no, he should be evicted from the tournament. Because there's a whole lot of crazy on either end, and there's a whole lot of crazy in the middle as well. But regardless of where you stand, folks, don't fucking be a racist, okay? Can we stop? Can we stop that, please? Anyway, speaking of racism, E-League announced a new thing. Just gonna hop in the next. I think that's about all that I can say on that topic. Is that for me, as my personal take on the whole thing was that it was personally disheartening to have a great tournament such as NCO. It was such a fucking roller coaster. Sending Chris ECH, him doing pretty well, as much as he could. And I'm stoked on that. A good tournament, fucking rad. A fuck ton of racism. Oh no, that's bad. And then having to recover from that, and then these patch notes, which again we'll get to. But something that was recently announced, in fact, earlier today, Thursday, was that E-League announced, well, we knew that they were going to run a new series. They didn't necessarily announce how the brackets would be run like they did last year, but they also announced today, in addition to that, they're going to debut a reality show. Hooray! It's VH1 presents E-League's reality. Did they name it? I actually don't know if it has a name yet. That's interesting. I didn't look into. I don't even think they announced it. Regardless, they're running a reality show with a choice number of people, and from this, I will say, fuck, man. They're really going to choose some of these people who I dare not speak their name to represent the FGC in a reality TV kind of sense? Is that really how we're going to do things? All right. Okay, because that blew over pretty well last year with all the drama that was created. Here's the thing. For what it's worth, we're talking about LTG, and a lot has been talked about with LTG that, like, the dude puts on a performance. That's been said to death. I get it. I get that you can have a persona on YouTube of being a bigoted asshole. I get it. I could just be your persona. Fine. I'm shaking my head to imply that it's not fine. To garner popularity or attention, fine. The thing about him, though, is that he's charismatic. He has some acting chops, to some degree, I'm sure. And I think he's gonna do well on this show. I'm sure whatever was filmed and his part in this is great. I'm sure that there's gonna be something to chew on there. I really hope kids don't Google that dude's name, or maybe I don't know. It's kind of, it's one of those things that's awful that when you get some representation like this, and all it takes is just a cursory search of someone's name to just go, oh, they're just a monster. Okay, all right. Weird choice there. All right, but others involved: Guilty, Sherry, Diasha, JB, Rob TV, and Commander Jesse. And a lot of those names, I'm like, hell yeah, let's fucking go. There's a lot of charisma there. There's a lot of strong players there. There's a lot of good stories to tell there of people's real lives. And I think that's the unfortunate part, is that there are so many strong U.S. members of the FGC that have so many interesting stories to tell of overcoming adversity, coming from pretty downtrodden regions, or overcoming great plights to go into some great success stories, or doing something for small communities to very little reward, but doing it for the heart and the love of the game. So many interesting stories to tell there, and they chose this one. So all right, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's all a good thing, and hopefully it's very popular, and I hope kids don't Google his name. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Motherfucker. Here's some good news, actually. Okay. Capcom also announced today, this is Andy Wong on Capcom Unity. This is where a lot of announcements get made for the English-speaking FGC. Prepare yourself for the Nameless Super Soldier crossover costume for Guile. What does this mean? This is actually from Forgotten Worlds, is where this costume comes from. It's not a series I'm familiar with, not a game I'm familiar with. I had to kind of look it up after this, just because I don't have this cultural touchstone. I was a Sega Genesis in my house. I fucking love that sound card. It's fucking great. It's got a sawtooth that'll rip open your back with a hacksaw. It's fantastic. But this was not a game that I had. I never played this one. But I saw a ton of people on Twitter being super excited for this costume. It's a cool costume. I think it's pretty rad. It's got really big shoulders. Look at those shoulders. They're so big. I wonder if they bulk up during V-Trigger and Critical Art activation. I wonder. Do the shoulder pads bulk up? Probably. Graphics in this game, you know how they work. Or do his muscles clip through the shoulder pads? Time will tell. Regardless, that's cool. And there is a whole, you know how they've been doing it. Like, they've got end dates. You've usually got like a week or so to get the certain parts of the costume. And before you can collect them, you got to collect them all, and then you get the costume. So there is the schedule for that, as well as the Shadowloo Soldier schedule, so you can get some fight money or experience, a little bit extra that way. Other than that, no other big announcements in this post. Usually they like to slip in some interesting or things within the wording here of, or it's like, oh, also this is coming in a couple days, or also like something changed with the way that that matchmaking works. Just like offhandedly being like, oh yeah, also this thing that didn't happen in this post, so don't. I mean, you can brush through with a fine-tooth, read between the lines. I don't know. So if you're excited about, or if you have that touchstone of Forgotten Worlds, and you play Guile, maybe this is for you. Maybe this excites you. I don't know. That's some good news. Other good news from NCR is that Born Free, his interviews are coming out. Pretty excited about that. Mostly because, I don't know, this one was pretty interesting. I didn't even get a chance to talk about it last week because he did this so quickly. He was talking to me about it. He's like, Joe, should I try and crowdfund to go to NCR? I know it's like really late. It's like really late. I don't know if I should. And I was like, even like trying to discourage him. Like, I don't know, man. That's such a short amount of time. Like, that's like kind of like a lot of cash to ask for, like in so much time. But I'm super excited that he got the funding. So like, shout outs to everyone who was a part of that, anyone who supported him or donated to the Patreon to get him out here, to get him. I say out here like I fucking live in California. I super do not. To get him out to NCR and do some really good interviews like we've been kind of accustomed to now. I'm really glad he can get out there and do that stuff. He asks a lot of he asks a lot of strong questions and puts a lot of people at ease to really say what's on their mind. He did a Bonchan interview. If you remember the one last year of Bonchan being one of the first pro players to kind of openly out and speak of like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing, to the devs of the game. So that's interesting that he would do that on the eve of things being because like the patch notes came out right after this. There's actually a funny thing about all of these interviews is that there's always an asterisk saying this interview was conducted pre-patch because no one knew about it. No one fucking knew about it. It was just a surprise patch, which I think we all kind of assumed a patch was coming. It's just, you never know when it's gonna come. You don't know when, but in the middle of the night Capcom will come and take your, you know how it is. But I like this one. This is John Choi's interview. Runs NCR. There's some really good insight here. He talks a little bit about the history, which is great. Him historically as a player, super fucking interesting to watch. Really solid fundamentals and just a really strong Ryu throughout history of their big. I think I can say that, and that's not to say that the FGC history will be about John Choi. If I had any forethought about what to make the FGC history, I might have made it John Choi Classico, but no, not this week. Although I could recommend you watching the John Choi versus Daigo Evo Pools 20. Was it 14? I'm racking my brain. Was it 14 that I'm thinking of? It might be. I might have that wrong. It might have been 15. Regardless, if you just search those guys' names, it'll come up and it'll be fun. USF4. Regardless, really good interview here. And he actually speaks about the Kaba, Mena, and Goichi issue as well, which is, it's good to get him on mic saying something about that. I think he might have to prepare a statement, or at least he says he might do that. So kind of looking forward to that. He's been a pretty strong leader within the FGC over the years, and just someone kind of to look up to if you are, if like life comes at you fast and you've got life outside of the FGC. This dude balances it pretty well, and he's got a really interesting story to tell. So this is a good interview. There's a lot of other really good interviews, and they're only, I think, half done at this point. So go look up the playlist for this and go check out these interviews. Other news is that Raphael is coming out with more of his tutorials. If you don't know who he is, he's released a ton of tutorials through help with SRK. in it's just character tutorials, as well as like system changes for the game. He has done a really great job, and like historically has done a really good job of doing character tutorials and just tutorials in video tutorials in general, for lots of games, not just Street Fighter V, even before that. And outside of the franchise as well. It's all good stuff. I recommend doing that. I always want to bring that up anytime I bring up his channel. But also, this is just a taster, a little tease, a little sampling of his thoughts on his gut reaction to 3.5 changes. And he makes a note here that the characters videos will be released probably slower than before, because there are changes that do affect a lot of B&Bs. There's a pretty big mix-up that happened because of 3.5, but he talks about kind of base level system changes here. I think he actually released Sakura's, I think. I might be getting that one wrong. There's at least one out right now. I don't know if there's more than that right now, but check the... I know he's got Ryu here. I think Sakura might be one as well, but regardless... Or no, he goes down the line of order of character, which I think is like... I don't know. I think that's a fine order. People were like... are always confused when they see characters listed out like Ryu, Chun-Li, I think like Armika or whatever the fucking order is. Like, why is it this way? It's like, well, that's like order of, you know, release or whatever. Just fucking shut up. Don't ask. I think that's fine. I think it's a fine order, but a lot of people would prefer alphabetical. But regardless, he's going to be working on it probably a little bit slower. Maybe like one every couple days, so not at the clip that you might be expecting. But man, things been shook up. And it's hard to have the drive, or, you know, this like surprise. You got to do a whole new series for every single character. Fucking good luck. Here you go. Roll the dice. So I do not envy his position there. I do not envy my own position to have to redo all of the character supplements for season 3.5. And I can't keep holding the back of my head that maybe we're gonna get a 3.6, 3.52. Just because of how things shook out. But come on guys, you guys, he's with me. You make a loud enough noise. Regardless, here's some things that won't change, and here's another tutorial. Speaking of tutorials, Urien, he got some interesting changes, I think, in the patch. I think Urien's going to be fine. It's going to be strong. Not a whole lot in terms of, you know, bad things that happen to him. Not a whole lot of nerfs. But this is a really good tutorial just on Urien's standing medium punch from Ginger Viking, who is a master Urien. So this dude knows what the fuck he's talking about. And he's only talking about one normal. I love this approach, by the way. He said that he's going to be working on other tutorials as well that are like specific like this, that are very specific. And I love that. I love that approach of digging into, okay, here's just one thing, Urien standing medium punch, and I'm going to talk about it for 13 minutes straight. I fucking love it. Like, that's, if you are a frame data nerd or a link nerd or a combo nerd, how can you not love this? How can you not look at this and just kind of melt? It's so beautiful. And the other thing is, like, it's someone who knows what they're talking about. It's not just some schmuck. I mean, this guy's got a vertigear chair. You can see it right there in the video. He's fucking ready. He's buckled in. He's strapped in to talk about Urien's standing medium punch. So fucking hold on to your butts, folks, because, you know, here's some information coming at you. Pro gamer. He's got a is that a HyperX too? Yeah, he's got HyperX. Oh, he's got the HyperX headphones. Man, look at this guy. He's tapped into the esports vein. It's flowing through his blood. Look at him. If Ginger's had blood, but, you know, we all know that not to be true. Okay. But speaking of Urien, folks, I want to get into another side. I've been talking about, you know, a lot of, you know, negative things so far. I've had some ups and downs. You know, things just make me sad about the FGC in general. But I mean, really, you know, sometimes, folks, sometimes you see something that just gets sexy. Something that just opens your eyes to a whole new possibility, whole new mind space. It opened up my mind palace. I've entered a whole new world of season 3.5. That's right, folks. Urian is a beautiful character, and guess what? He's got some beautiful headbutt loops. That's right, folks. Headbutt loops are back. I can't tell you how excited I am. Oh my goodness. I came. It's fantastic. Urian headbutt loops are back, and I've seen a couple headbutt loops, but this particular setup was something that was so beautiful and so legitimately practical. It just, oh man, filled to the brim, folks. This one, you know, if I was spent from this week's negativity and the fucking racism and horrible shit that happened, ooh. So what the setup is, I'll explain it because it's fantastic. It starts off from target combo. That's just what it starts out from. I'm sorry, that's different setup. But you can lead into it from, let's see, it goes standing medium punch, which we talked about previously, crouching medium punch, EX metallic sphere, activation of the V trigger, normal activation, so it goes like, or short activation I'd say, so it goes like right out in front of him, and then from that Urian can just standing medium punch right through, or no, he just medium punch headbutts through the Aegis himself. So the Aegis is just there, it doesn't hit the Ken, it doesn't hit the opponent, it's just there to space things out, get things ready, get things all primed up and good, to start this combo. Does 3 headbutts. The first one does the link to the second headbutt, ends it with a heavy headbutt off of a crouching light punch, and then from that, a quick rise from Ken. Here's what I love, quick rise from Ken. What the Urian does is a stand light kick. The Ken blocks the stand light kick. You know, that could be pretty typical. That could be pretty typical. So this is like just a knockdown off of heavy headbutt. The Ken blocks it. The stand light kick, obviously, because you're gonna medium. Who doesn't do a meaty? That's a safe option. But then, what are you gonna do? Maybe you're gonna late tech. Maybe you're just gonna stand there. Maybe you're gonna crouch block. Or maybe you're gonna stand up and press a light normal. Well, guess what? Urian's right there, fully charged, stand hard punch. That's right, baby. See that chop all the way from Nemo down to Zangief. Here we go. Boom. Hit that Ken. Standing medium punch into another medium punch headbutt loop. Oh my goodness, folks. Oh, give me all those loops. Oh, and this series alone leads into a stun. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. The dude also does another round of headbutt loops, which are like at that point kind of unnecessary, and you can even think to that end, like, man, just do another series of headbutt loops. You don't even need to spend the critical art at that point, because you're gonna deal so much damage raw and not have to spend any money. That's the best part. All you have to spend is your V trigger. Like, for 3 loops, in a row, linked together. This one put a smile across my face, folks. We'll get into talking about Urian's headbutt loops and why or how they're back, even if they weren't intended. But oh my goodness, this one just made me put a smile right across my face. I love it. Also, check out anything that Hassan's been posting about Urian's headbutt loops, or Javits, or anyone. Just search headbutt loops, season 3.5 headbutt loops, because I'm so glad it's back. It's one of my favorite things from Street Fighter V that they took away, but they're back, folks. They're back, baby. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. How can it not make you happy? Here's some other changes that are super good, that all you guys are happy about and I'm happy about as well, because it makes this is good things. But from your online matches, if you were in training mode, it'll spit you right back into training mode. No load screens. Load time it's a snap, folks. That's right. The thing that we've been asking for years, in fact. Fuck, at this point. for fucking years. We've been asking for, it sucks that I can say it, asking for quick load time back into the thing that you were doing without any kind of animations or, you know, loading screens. Guess what? You just get right back into it. That's awesome. People were super excited about that, and for good reason. This is something we've been asking for since we started doing the community feedback threads, and here it is in a silent patch. There was no announcement about this. It was just something that people found out naturally through play. I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to make such an announcement that would make the community super happy, because it did. Made a lot of people put a lot of smiles across people's faces, and that's fucking rad. I don't know. This is cool, and this is good news. Some other good news about how Street Fighter V operates now is that you can restrict connection quality in battle lounges. So if you want to do some casual battle lounges, you have the option to restrict to five bars if you want those good connections. If you want those good connections, if you want to get connected to 5 bar peoples, then you can do that now. Yeah, there's something to say about maybe that 5 bar connection won't necessarily be a 5 bar. We've all lived that life as well, but you can do it now. You don't have to boot people. You can just play it out with people that, you know, are also searching for 5 bar connections. Also good. Also something we've been asking for years. And we get unannounced in it. Well, this one was announced because it was something that popped up on your screen whenever you launched Street Fighter V. So you fucking know about this, unless you haven't played Street Fighter V in the last week or so. Has it even been? No, yeah, fuck, not even a week. Shit. Yeah, if you haven't booted up Street Fighter V, there's a surprise waiting for you. Which gets into the last segment. 3.5. What a patch it was, folks. Oh, what a patch. It's got a lot of people being very active and vocal on Twitter about, oh my god, this is broken, or oh my god, my character is dead. A lot of quote tweets going around. A lot of, you know, people just being excited because that's, you know, that's just how Twitter FGC works. For what it's worth. I fucking hate it. I think it's trash. But is what it is. You see a lot of pro players using a lot of hyperbole, and fucking fine. But also what you see is a lot of players go through, collect their tech, post their tech, post it in Twitter Moments, which is fucking fine or whatever. I guess I'm okay with that. But we have a thread here, the Meg thread, which is still sticky at the top. Got the sub. A lot of really good stuff here to see. A lot of good tech for each character. Just do it like Control F, or even do a tech search, which is this tab over here in the corner, right below the SF5 server tab on the front page of our Street Fighter. Click on that, search for your own character's name, see what's been coming up, sort by new. We tried to make Twitter search or Reddit search engine work for us, but it is what it is. And there's a lot of people out there saying their opinions on, you know, they've given whole rundowns of what they think that, you know, how their feelings on the patch and what it means for their character, and that's fine. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I won't reiterate those things, but what I will do, a little different take on this. I'm just gonna go over the things that I think are the dumbest changes, and not a matter of like, oh, like why would they make that character super strong, or like that this damage that made this character dumb. I'm strictly gonna be speaking. Like from a developer standpoint, this is nonsense. No one communicated well what the actual problem was, and here we are in 3.5 with Shruggy Shoulder Guy going, I don't know. It's one of those things where you see something and you see something in action and you just think, like, when anyone communicates anything to the dev team of, you know, we probably should get a patch going. Here's a list of notes. Is it just like Navajo code walker that just shows up and is like, oh, I have some messages to send you, and they say their Navajo code, and people who are the developers just go, I think they meant this, and then you have a patch note, and that's fun. A lot of people have speculated maybe they just look at the CFN results, which I think is also bullshit, because if that were the case, then Bison would get nerfed to hell. Bison's one of the most top performing characters on CFN, so if that's the case, then he would be nerfed. So what the fuck? What the fuck? I'm not entirely convinced that the developers for Street Fighter V are actually overtaken by like a sentient AI, but then that sentient AI got like a little too close to like an electromagnet, and so it's like somewhat malfunctioning, and it's just spitting out the number. It's just giving you the numbers, and whoever has to hit publish is like, oh, you say so, like, you know better than us, supercomputer. But they don't know yet. They don't know yet that it was walked too close to magnet. They don't know yet. Well, regardless, here are some changes that I think are trash. First up, down the line, let's go. Ryu, he had an interesting change here, which I don't think was intentional. By the way, folks, the things that I'm just going to cover here in this segment are just things that I've just somewhat discussed. Like, I really haven't even dug into it that super hard. I haven't looked at it with a microscope. I know that there are people who are. If you follow Weed on Twitter, dude's been, I mean, he had SF5 diff out in like a fucking second. It was not even hours that passed, and he was like, if you want to know what's different, here you go. Info dump, what's good? Which I've talked about on this podcast before. So this is even just like at a glance things that, even just by looking at our Street Fighter and just through a little bit of testing of my own, was like, oh, this is kind of fucked. So let's talk about him. Ryu got some good changes. I like where Ryu is as a character, but you'll never believe this one broken thing. So if Ryu is in V-Trigger 1, and he ends a combo with DP, and he intends to cancel that DP into critical art, and that DP depletes the remaining V meter that he has, because it ticks down. If you throw a Hadoken or do a DP, it depletes a little bit of that bar. If that DP you do at the end of the combo fully depletes that bar, making Ryu no longer in V-Trigger, that DP cannot be cancelled into critical art for reasons. So that's broken. Another thing I think is broken, maybe not broken, but just something that I think that players have been talking about for years since the game came out. Fong. Something about Fong, if you don't know, it was just like maybe 12 Fongs out there who play him somewhat competently. His sweep, where if he hits it at certain ranges, even if he gets a crush counter sweep, the second hit will whiff and allow his opponent to get a full punish on a reaction at that range, because you just recover in time. He's still got that sweep out there, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'll just like counter sweep or like fucking do whatever, because even though you got the crush counter, you don't get a combo. In fact, I get to punish you. Lol game. So that's broken, and has been broken since Season 1. And no one's ever really talked about that. So I want to say that into a microphone to a lot of people who might listen about Fong, because I think Fong could be an interesting character. But he's been stuck in low tier for fucking forever. And the changes don't necessarily help him. I mean, he got that V reversal change that makes it pretty punishable on reaction. The crab walk doesn't go anywhere. It was so much fun to watch him crab walk and scuttle about and escape any dangerous situation, but not so much anymore. You can pretty much do it on reaction and punish with really whatever. Another character who got hit by something like this is Ed, another low tier character that got hit with a V reversal nerf that was pretty harsh. Actually, these are the things that actually make their V reversals pretty useless. I mean, even as like Zangief, for example, Zangief can press a headbutt, and it's not crazy for an Ed or anybody to want to V reversal a headbutt, because that puts Geef in an advantage, and you don't want to hold that. You just want to say, get out of here, headbutt. I don't know what to deal with you. It's one of those things you even react to, where you see it and you go, okay, here's a headbutt. I know he's not going to be able to SPD me because he'll be in recovery. I can, hit him with this, which other characters can, but because Eds and Fongs are escape V reversals, you would think they just sneak behind him and be out, but no, Zangief can just headbutt, see that they did the reversal, and just go, oh, headbutt again the opposite direction, and get the punish to get the combo that he wanted in the first place. Or do an SPD, or do any number of things. Like, I mean, that's like, come on, man. He gets the pressure, you do the reversal, and he still gets to hit you with the button that he initially wants to hit you with? That doesn't seem right. Those numbers don't add up. I'm all like, calculate. My Texas Instrument is saying that's fucking wrong. That's not okay. Weird. Okay, next topic of discussion. Ken, I think, is still broken. Here's the thing. Is that I actually think that Ken is like a pretty well-balanced character. I think he's like pretty mid, or could be like a good mid to high tier character. I think that he's pretty honest when it comes to playing the neutral. I think that Ken's pretty fair when it comes to playing the neutral and his particular options. I think you got to be about your wits to do very well with him at a high level. At a high level, I think you have to be have a good wherewithal of how to play the game and how to play the character to do well with him at a high level. Keep that in mind. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your even like diamond level, diamond DPs, diamond Dallas Ken DPs coming at you. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, offline performs well at tournaments, good Kens. I think he's fine. Like, I think the character does pretty well, but there's certain things about him, specifically in 3.5, that are fucked up. We did that podcast with Chris Tatarian about, crouching medium punch to target combo whiffing. Still a thing in this game. Mostly because either the push box on Ken's crouching medium punch is too much, or characters are just, it's a razor thin margin of error there. Even if Ken walks backwards for a single frame after landing a counter crouching medium punch, single frame walks backwards into back medium punch, it'll whiff. It's close. It's that finicky. He's got setups to do a point blank crouching medium punch, but are you gonna risk it if they get counter hit? Like, probably not. But he's got cool stuff in 3.5. The target combo into step kick into DP is like pretty good corner carry. I like it. Or even like step kick into like critical art works, but not when you're in V trigger for some fucking reason, which I think is a mistake. Another thing that I guess sucks, this is probably intentional, it just sucks, is that if Ken does the fake overhead into his crouching light kick, stand light kick, medium kick tatsu, he doesn't get the full medium kick tatsu, which means that he can't do the DP juggle in the corner. So that's kind of fucked. What else? Oh yeah, also his crouching medium punch just whiffs on backdashes. The fuck is that about? Like, some of them, it was one of those things where I saw it and I was like, no, that's some fuckery, right? That's just like a mistime. That's not right. But it's on the Mochi stream. He just shows Colleen doing a backdash and he does a medium punch, and the punch is like, it's obviously right there, but it doesn't hit the Colleen. I don't know why that is. That just seems not right. Why would that whiff? Why would that be a thing that ever happens? I don't know, but there's video evidence of it, and it made me think that I was high as fuck. But I'll do drugs. Stay in school, kids. Okay, now the main topic of my life, Zangief. We need to talk about Zangief. Think about Zangief. And the thing about Season 3.5 is that overall and in general, this is just, this is a window into my own psyche for you guys out there listening, that I am totally okay with Zangief being bottom tier. I am okay with playing a low tier character, and I'm okay with there being very high tier characters. I'm very okay with bad matchups. I'm okay with that existing, because I like to have fun with Zangief, and I like to have fun with the characters that I like to play. It doesn't mean that I always think that they're competitive. Even in this game, I think that it's pretty smart, if you are trying to be competitive, to have a secondary with any character that you play, just to overcome your bad matchups. I think that's smart. I don't think it's necessarily that hard to do. in this game. Well, if you specifically have a secondary for specific matchups, I don't think it's that hard to. I don't think it's that much big of an ask to ask like pro players to say, you know, put in a little bit of extra work in another character just to get strong in a certain matchup to do consistently well in tournament, because that's what's key here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the bad things that happens. I'm okay with the nerfs even. He got hit with some fucking nerfs that I think really hurt him and are super not cool. Like the V reversal nerf, which pushes them too far out. Like for him to get any follow-up. Because usually that put people in a mix-up. But what people also didn't think about was that him getting that V reversal nerf of it causing so much pushback on hit now prevents him, you know, what he used to be able to do. If he was in the corner and he hit you with that V reversal, on certain characters, not the entire cast, hit you with a V reversal, on hit he could combo it into critical art. He can't do that anymore. It's too far away. He can't even follow up with the regular SPD. It's too much. The muscle explosion was too much and pushed them way too far away, and it's unfortunate. But that's a nerf that I can live with. That sucks. But I can live with that. Other thing that sucks is that the headbutt nerf, you know, they took away that stun, but they made it cancelable. I don't give a fuck about that. They made it cancelable, and it made it an overall worse move in general, I think. And that sucks. But I can live with that. I can live with a bad matchup. But his light confirm, crouching light kick, crouching light punch lariat will sometimes whiff if his opponent backdashes or doesn't move with a push box on frame 1. Not being able to have a reliable light confirm it's just broken. It's just broken, and it makes me a broken human for keep playing Zangief. I know I'm broken, but like I just want that to be fixed. Fix this on Zangief, fix this on Ken, and let's just be okay. Let's fix these things. But I don't know. So that sucks. I really wish they would fix that, and they didn't. They didn't in this patch. There's really nothing that Geef can do. It just doesn't have a light confirm, a reliable light confirm that you can 100% know that you're gonna hit with on hit. Especially if you see a counter hit, you're not gonna have faith in that. Which is why you'll see a lot of Zangiefs go for some kinds of or other kinds of follow-ups to light pressure. They're more likely going to try and reset the situation just because it benefits Zangief more than any combo into Lariat. Or you'll see Zangief's pressure, which I do this a lot, pressuring with crouching medium punch. Because, you know, especially against characters who have 4-frame light attacks, because it'll win out. In those 3 frames, it'll lose. So if someone wakes up with 3 frames, it'll lose. But I'm getting sidetracked by Zangief talking about all this tech. So much Zangief tech. The other thing about the headbutt is that optimally, there's kind of no reason to do it, and it's one of those air normals that has such fucking shit range that you would never press it as a punish, even for someone trying to escape the corner. Like you would have to know beforehand. You have to be in air, like right at the same level with them. And then, like, to not have pressed a button beforehand to, like, get out there and hit you with it air to air to land this headbutt into EX Borscht Dynamite. Which, like, okay, you can do that. It might happen eventually, I'm sure. Like, that situation will arise. Fine. But, like, the other things that he can do with it just don't make any fucking sense. You look at the crush counter nerf of the scaling, it's like, well, okay, it does do a little bit more damage and stun than just a regular stand hard punch into hard punch SPD. It does a little bit more, but it does not do more than a fully charged stand hard punch into hard punch SPD. It does not. It does less damage. So why would you do that? Why'd you do that? The only time it is optimal that I can think of is when you are already in V-Trigger, and you block a reversal that you can punish with a neutral jump headbutt that you wouldn't otherwise neutral jump and come down on with a headbutt. So like Ken or Akuma, like you're gonna headbutt them just because you can. They have so much recovery. But like Ryu, you can't come down and perform your full combo if they do the EXDP. You can catch them in the air, but what you can't do is block, activate, then catch them with a headbutt. So like fucking why? Like just stop it with this bullshit. It's not a buff. Alright, so the next up, another grappler, Laura, I think got a patch that was just nonsense. It's just a dumb patch. Like, I get why they did it. So what they did was, with her Thunderclap, if you cancel that into V-Skill, like she can do in V-Trigger, she has so much of a hurt box, so much of a push box, that she cannot cross under. In most instances she cannot, which takes away that really hard to guess. Well, it's not super hard to guess if you know the setup. Like, there was actually a really good video by either 801 Strider or it was Scan, might have been Scan actually, about how that mix-up works. The Thunderclap, EX Thunderclap into V-Skill forward, and it's like there's only certain instances where if she hits you and V-Skills forward, you just have to block the other way right away because she can't cross you up right away. Regardless, they now took that out of the game. It's one of those things where they patched it into the game, made it possible in Season 3, and then went, oh no, this is bad. We need to get rid of this. So like fucking why do it? Like, did anyone test this? Like, probably not. It's one of those things where you see it and you go, oh, very clearly no one tested this. Very clearly no one took a look at this and decided that this was not okay. Nobody did, because they took it out immediately in a patch only a couple months after release of Season 3. So, like, fuck out of here with that. Like, no. I was okay with that mix-up because, I don't know, it's fucking, she's got some other, like, interesting stuff. Like, her patch notes, I think, are okay. She can actually still do, there's a video posted where she can actually still get a cross under. It's not the same, and it's not as scumbaggy as the previous mix-up, but she can still do it. But regardless, I just think it's fucking dumb. Here's another fucking dumb thing that I think happened. Guile. It's one of those things where you look at it on paper, and if it was just under a microscope of Guile's flash kick deals more pushback on hit, puts them further away. You look at that and you go, yeah, okay, they're trying. You look at all the other notes of like, okay, throws put you too far away, it resets the neutral. There's a lot of things in this patch that are like intended to reset the neutral. You go, okay, cool, that makes sense. And I can even imagine the devs like doing this and saying like, yes, it makes the flash kick makes them go further away, so Guile can continue to guile you. And you go, all right, okay. Let me try my favorite B&B flash kick into critical art. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, no. I'm sorry, that doesn't work anymore. You can't do his normal confirm and flash kick into critical art anymore. For reasons? Because it pushes them a little too far away. It's one of those things that I just feel like no one tested, and it was an accident that this happened. It's even one of those things where even if he anti-airs you with a flash kick, cancels it into critical art, it might not hit. So why would they do that? Like, it's just another one of those things in this patch that it's like, okay, this was obviously reactionary, and you obviously have a goal in mind, but like this change makes a lot of Guile's trials not work anymore. Like, you're just creating more work for yourself, and whenever you plan on making more trials for however many I don't know. I don't know why they would make a lot of their work not applicable anymore in these situations, where they could have just, increased it a little bit, but not enough to cause so much that would make that would make the critical art whiff. I don't know, folks. Just, you look at it, you just go, that's fucking dumb. But thanks. Here's like a cool combo. Guess what? You can't do it anymore. Because fuck you, that's why. Alright. Next up that I think is dumb. Abigail. I actually think Abigail's nerfs are dumb. Because they don't really change the way that he plays in significant ways. I don't think they hurt him enough. Like, they don't hurt him enough in the ways that were actually broken. They just hurt him in ways like, oh, Abigail deals too much damage and stun. Well, let's just, like, let's nerf those things. And is crouching light kick, that confirm off of light kick, yeah, it's no good either. So just, let's take that away. Okay, you did that, but, like, now stand light kick is a better tick throw, so fuck that. Abigail twist, or an unmatched Abigail punch still gives him Oki. So like standing medium punch, Abigail twist, and you perform a reversal when he has V-trigger, you're still fucking dead. So I don't give that one so much. And like V-trigger 1 max damage combos still do insane fucking damage. But what they didn't do, specifically what they didn't do, was add a fucking hurt box to his heavy punch normals. They still have, you see that fist out there, and you go, aha, I will whiff punish that, because this game cares about the neutral. Zangief, standing medium punch, Ric Flair, chop! It goes through fucking Ghost Fist, and you hit nothing. You try and give that man a fist bump, and are not rewarded for it. So you are still going to see people get steamrolled by Abigail. Not in the same ways, like, he lost some Oki there. Like, yes. The run and throw, he lost Oki. Like, fully mashed Abigail punch, he lost Oki. But, like, I get it. And some damage there, and some stun there. A little bit. But, like, he's gonna fuck you up still. Because he can kind of just play Abigail neutral. Which is like, oh, if you throw a button at my fist, you get to die is your reward for trying to play the game. But so it's just a disheartening thing that I saw, where it was one of those things where I had in the back of my mind, they're going to patch this game because in its current state it's kind of broken. This was before 3.5. They just got to change a couple little things here and there, and it will be okay. It'll be okay. But then there's just this like huge jumble mix-up, and it still doesn't necessarily like fix the actual broken stuff. It just has like an idea of like they heard someone say, "Oh, Abigail's broken," and then they just like assumed why Abigail was broken, and then you're still gonna see him in top 8s. Promise you that, because like Itabashi Zangief ain't going. He's certainly not going back to Zangief. That's for fucking sure. Okay. Next character, and I going to Cammy, and a lot of people, you see a lot of people cry like, oh, she's like buffed a little bit, like, oh, fuck all this, which like, okay, like I'll allow that hyperbole. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I'm okay with there being top tiers and strong characters. I'm okay with Cammy being strong. I'm okay with that. But specifically that they made a note that said added pushback to crouching light kick. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, surely they meant stand light kick, because that's the problematic normal when it comes to light kick pressure. Surely the standing light kick that has effectively 0 pushback, surely they added pushback to that. Well, I was wrong. So she gets that counter hit stand light kick. She can combo right in 3-hit light combo into crouching light kick. So don't you fucking worry, folks. You gotta worry from all ranges, because they fixed it. They fixed it all right. Here's another character, Vega. Here's another patch that I think makes no fucking sense. Or it makes sense on paper. Like, here's the thing. It fucking makes sense if you look at it on a microscope and look at it on paper. Vega got his light kick roll. They extended the hitbox. They extended the range. They say they gave it a range buff, they say. But, like, even a light hit confirmed from not max, from, like, let's just say max range light confirm. Like, you're not point blank when you start it. into crouching light punch light kick roll, it will still whiff. So why would it do that? Why would you make it that way? Like, there's still a lot of instances where Vega's light kick roll will whiff, which can cause huge problems for him because that's punish, and Vega can't necessarily afford that. And it's stupid and it's dumb, and I hate it. I hate that they made a lot of these notes of like, okay, this will fix it. This will fix the issue. And then the issue still exists, or exists because of another reason that they didn't change, or because they changed something else entirely. I hate it. Here's a change. Urian, I think it's dumb that Urian's headbutt loops are back, even though I fucking love it. I think it's stupid because you look at the patch notes and it specifically says that light punch will gain extra frame of recovery on whiff, but only on whiff. Special note, only on whiff. And I saw that patch and I looked at Hatson and I said, hey, Hatson, I'll gamble you USDs. I didn't do this because I'm not a gambler, and also he can't accept my US monies. I'm pretty sure that's how transactions work, international transactions work. I said, I will bet you that stand light punch actually applies to the move in its entirely, and Urian will have headbutt loops. Like, I promise you that. As soon as I saw that, I was like, they're just gonna give it to the whole move. And most of the moves here, they're just gonna give it to the whole move. Not all, it's like a 50-50. But that one in particular, they're giving it back. Urian's gonna have headbutt loops. So like, why even have that note? Why even give us patch notes? Just like release the thing. Like, release the thing and like then let someone who knows what the fuck they're doing like go through and go, oh yeah, okay, this is what happened. Like, give it to Weed, give it to Hatson. I don't fucking care. Like, just let someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about give us notes so that like it all makes sense. And also, you fucking took away the headbutt loop in Season 3, so why give it back to us in Season 3.5 when you specifically say you're not going to give it back to us by saying it's only on whiff? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, like, again, that's a dumb patch note. That's a dumb patch note. And, of course, my favorite dumb patch note goes to Alex. That's right. Yammy Drop 2.0. Dead again. Big like, thanks. If you're familiar with the Yammy Drop was that originally what he could do was flash chop, right, into power drop. Because that power drop, I think this is how the frame data worked. Because the power drop itself, when it was canceled, 6 frame, you late cancel the hard punch flash chop into the power drop, which you can do. But because that power drop was 6 frames, or whatever it was, on block, if you blocked that hard punch flash chop, perfect tick throw into power drop. Perfect tick throw. So it's kind of a gamble for Alex of, oh, if I hit you with this and don't follow up, you know, you don't get the punish on the hard punch flash chop, or like, you know, a scale or a full punish on my whiff command throw. But if you just sit there and block, he snatches you. It's kind of like a fun little risk there. Like, a fun risk because, like, it's kind of a gimmick, but also you can see it working with the way that Alex was explosive damage-wise. Like, it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. And then, in, I forget exactly which patch it was, they decided, oh no, Alex should not be able to do that. So, they shortened the command grab from 6 frames to 5 frames to fix that. To say they'll still be in, or have just recovered, so it's no longer a perfect tick throw. You'll still catch the unthrowable frames of their recovery. So the Yammy Drop doesn't work anymore. And you go, okay, like, I get it. They just didn't want that in the game, so they reduced that particular setup from 6 frames to 5 frames, so that doesn't work anymore. Okay, like, fine. And then AE comes out. He gets V-Trigger too. And guess what? He can cancel Flash Chop into a special V-Trigger. What was it? Neck Breaker? I forget the exact name, but he can cancel it into his V-trigger command grab. And guess what? It's 6 frames. Well, by golly, that's the same kind of setup that the original Yami Drop was. Yami Drop lives again, 2.0. There it is. The exact same kind of frame data. You go, okay, they took it away with that, but then they give it back to him. But he has to be in V-trigger. So you go, okay, like that must have been the trade-off that they were looking for. That must be why that's a thing. Because there's no way that they could make the same mistake with a command grab that's 6 frames after on block this certain move that you have to late cancel it for to get that particular setup. Like, it's fair. All's fair. 3.5 comes out. They reduce the startup of the V-trigger command grab from 6 frames to 5 frames. They fix it in the same goddamn way that they caused the problem with in the first season. Like, you shot yourself in the foot once. And you go, oh man, that hurt. Fuck. Oh, but I'm out of ammo. I gotta reload my gun here. And then you shoot yourself in the fucking foot again in the same exact way. Like, it's like, that's hysterically bad. That's hysterically bad. Like, I can't believe it. You can, like, and it's funny watching this from afar, just trying to guess why they made these changes. And you go, why would they add or take away Yami Drop? Like, okay, maybe it wasn't intended, but then they add it back with V-trigger. Okay, fun. Like, he just needs meter for it. And they take away the same way. And it's like, oh no, you just fucked up. Like 4 times. Stop. Please stop. Please, like, talk to someone. Get some help. Call this number. All right. I'm gonna get off my bullshit now, because those are all like the dumb changes to 3.5 that I just think are mega bullshit that I have seen, and it's only been a couple days, so that's just the mega bullshit that I've seen that I think are unintentional, and that I think require patches or like require explanations at the very least. Jeez, oh man. All right, so let's get into the next topic, folks. It's time for Shitpost of the Week. That's right, Post. This is a fun little thing where we can kind of laugh at ourselves and laugh at the sub in general, because our Street Fighter, let's admit, can be dumb a lot of the times. And something that I thought was dumb, speaking of some dumb patches, this one goes to Quasimodo X. You done it again, son. Congratulations. So what if you haven't been following, here's some bullshit of Capcom making a costume for Jerry, alternate costume, Lilith costume, and there was uproarious outrage of, oh no, they made her a not busty lady anymore. What's up with that? But aha, if you input the costume code, which is light kick, all punches, and up, at any like loading screen or in between rounds, she gets her boobs back. So fuck you, Capcom, I guess. I don't know. I don't care if you like things sexy or not, but come on, man. It's exploitative bullshit. But regardless, what Quasi did was he showed an extra hurt box like where boobs would be, and called it a nerf, and it's a pretty good joke. It's a joke. This is not real. If you saw this and thought it was real, it was tweeted out by me and a couple other people. Caught a little bit of steam there. It's a joke. It's not real. She doesn't actually gain a hurt box for her love boxes. So if you were goofed by this one, don't worry. Input that costume code all you like, depending on how sexy you like it. Alright, now let's get to the final section, which I'll only gloss over. And I only think it's appropriate here to call out, because I haven't quite figured out how we're going to redo this segment of the show. Something I want to give homage. We like to end the show with an homage to FGC of yore. Pull a match from history and say, let's go watch this one, or here's why this match is worth watching. And this week, giving it to K-Brad versus Smug at East Coast Throwdown 2015. And it's a good set because it shows Cammy, a strong Cammy player. I really like K-Brad's Cammy, and I really love out. And there's a really good comeback by K-Brad and some solid play overall. The commentary and the energy in the room are actually a little odd on this, so like don't be fooled by that. Like it's actually a really good set if you watch it. Ultra Street Fighter 4, so like final versions of these characters, I believe, and it's a fun set. And I loved watching K-Brad's Cammy in Street Fighter 4, instant air dive kicks, and some tight ass links from Smug with his Dudley, that aggressive Dudley with that overhead and that stand hard kick. Loved it. That fist to the face like fucking Folgers, so good. So I'll just recommend that you go watch this match if you want to see some hype Street Fighter 4. Maybe next week we'll go back to some Street Fighter 2, talk about a match like that, maybe talk about its significance, in the whole like scope, grand scheme of FGC history. This one doesn't necessarily carry as much weight as some other matches that we've talked about, but it's a fun slugfest, and it's a good comeback, and it's when K-Brad was, he still is a very strong player, but this was when Cammy was pretty high tier, but now she's definitely high tier now versus a low tier Dudley, or like mid tier Dudley. Dudley's pretty mid tier, but Smug makes him look so good. And that's the show, folks. Gonna end things there. I'll get off my bullshit. So sorry if I bored you with the. Don't worry, folks. I'm no longer on Sudoku watch. I've come to terms with Zangief and his place in the tier list. I'm okay with playing a low tier character. I'm okay with I guess I'm okay with playing a broken character because he is broken, and Ken players should be okay with playing a broken character. But we should let people know that those things should be changed. Like those confirms whiffing. Like stop it, fix it, because it's broken. At least let that be known, I think, is important. To like call it out when you see it, when you see some hot bullshit like that. Don't be hyperbolic about certain characters and what they got over your character, or why they're still strong, or why they're fucking gutted. Like I don't think Rashid got all that gutted, honestly. Like he's not all that bad. They took away his bullshit, but if you still play like a solid Rashid, I think you could do well with Rashid. But like that's an honest conversation about the character versus 180 or 240 characters on how you think you get the most retweets. It's a little bit better than that. Do better, folks. Don't be what have we learned? Be better. Don't be racist. Don't send mod mail. Don't send mod mail about your racism, defending your racism. Don't do that. I'd rather you not. And that's the show. If you have any comments or concerns or questions, put them in the response either in the Reddit thread or on the YouTube replay of this, or on fucking Twitter. I don't care. You can catch me at Super Joe Monday, or you can catch our Street Fighters main account, that's at Reddit SF. And as always, please rate and review this podcast on, I guess, fucking iTunes or whatever the hell you listen to it on. If you're some kind of like normie like me who is an Android, I ain't got no iTunes on my phone, but if you do, rate it please. But that's the show, and listen in every Thursday. Also check out the tournaments that we run on Mondays and Fridays. Is that how we end the show? Okay, regardless, folks, until next week, take care. Please don't be racist anymore. Thank you for not being. This is me being presumptuous, saying that you won't be racist, so thank you. See you next week, folks. Take care.